Hey future York students!
I'm Sidel.
And I'm Neetha.
And welcome to the Faculty of Liberal Arts and Professional Studies Program Chat Series.
We want you to know that here in LA&PS, you will study what you love and learn what you need.
In this chat, you'll be hearing from future professors as well as current students about the program.
What it has to offer you, like internship opportunities.
And what your first year in the program may look like.
Alright, should we get started?
Yeah, let's get started.
Enjoy, everybody.
Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our Liberal Arts and Professional Studies chat series. Today, we're going to be talking about one of our larger programs, one of our more foundational programs, and also one of our best programs here at Liberal Arts and Professional Studies, and that is our program in sociology. Before we get started, though, I would like to talk a little bit about the land that York University is located on. This meeting is virtual, and because of that, we are not all actually gathered on the same space. York's land acknowledgement might not represent the territory that you are currently on, and I would ask that if that is the case, that you each take the responsibility to acknowledge the traditional territory you are on and its current treaty holders. As a member of the York University community, I recognize that many Indigenous nations have long-standing relationships with the territories upon which York University campuses are located that precede the establishment of York University. York University acknowledges its presence on the traditional territory of many Indigenous nations. The area known as Takaranto has been taken care of by the Anishinaabe Nation, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, the Huron-Wendat, and the Métis. It is now home to many Indigenous peoples. We acknowledge the current treaty holders, the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. This territory is subject of the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, an agreement to peaceably share and care for the Great Lakes region. Now I'd like to introduce a very special guest we have with us today, the chair for the Department of Sociology here at York University, Professor Thomas. Good morning, Professor Thomas.
Hi, good morning, Adam. Thanks for hosting this program chat with the Department of Sociology. In what follows, we're going to talk a little bit about the program, and we'll also have a chance to answer some questions and hopefully help people understand what we do in the department and why it would be really exciting to join the department and study sociology at York University. I'm going to run through a slideshow of some PowerPoint slides, and I'm going to be helped by a number of faculty and students who are here with us today as well. Hi, and welcome to this program chat. Before we begin, I'd like to thank the Faculty of Liberal Arts and Professional Studies for giving us this chance to talk about the undergraduate program in sociology. And we'd also like to thank you for taking the time to check out what we do in the department. Sociology is a very large department with over 40 professors and over 600 undergraduate students. Our program covers a wide range of topics and areas in the discipline of sociology. We offer courses that engage with key issues of today, including social inequality, global migration, precarious employment, racism and colonialism, digital technologies, health, and the environment. We hope this program chat will not only help to explain what we do, but also help to get you excited about studying sociology at York University. Thinking sociologically means considering how our individual actions are connected to a bigger picture. It means making connections between our lives and the wider social relationships and processes that shape our experiences in the world. Sociology is more than ideas. To commit sociology means to both think and to act sociologically, to build sociological knowledge and to live in relation to that knowledge. Through our program, you'll learn important research and critical thinking skills that can be applied in many aspects of life. And at the same time, you'll develop a sociological imagination that can help to build a more just and sustainable world. Before we move on, we're going to hear from some others who are going to talk about what sociology means to them.
Sociology is one of the earliest studies of the social sciences to ever exist. And York University offers an amazing program that provides you with options for graduate school and a work life after graduation. Sociology focuses on society's order and change, the study of human social behavior, social relationships, social interactions, and culture. You can choose to learn about a variety of topics, such as social psychology, crime, health, law, sex and gender, racism, and the list goes on. The world is filled with many social issues, and this is what sociology seeks to investigate through social research.
I'm joined by several faculty and students from the Department of Sociology, and we're each now going to take a minute to tell you a little bit about ourselves and what we do in the program. So my name is Mark Thomas. I'm chair and I'm an associate professor in the department. I've been a member of the sociology department since 2004. In my role as chair, I oversee department planning, and I work with faculty and staff to ensure that our program is responsive to student needs and that it evolves to reflect our ever-changing social world. In terms of my own teaching, I teach courses about the sociology of work and about economic sociology. And my courses look at the social impacts of changing workplaces and the changing economy, how these things affect people. Through my research projects, I study how technology changes the organization of work and how precarious working conditions could be improved.
Hello, everyone. I'm Deborah Davidson, an associate professor in sociology. My research interests include health and well-being, disability, death, grief, and bereavement, and commemoration through tattoos. One of my the major reasons I study tattoos and the major messages that I have when I write and present about tattoos is that tattoos are not only about deviance. They have many other valuable meanings, including to commemorate and to memorialize. The courses I teach generally include things like Introduction to Sociology, which is one of my favorite courses because when I took it many years ago, that is where I learned to love sociology. Also, I teach courses having to do with health and disability, gender, and human reproduction. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sylvia Bauer, and I'm an associate professor of sociology and also the director of the Resource Center for Public Sociology, which is located in the department. My work looks generally at globalization and international political economy and development. I am very interested in the ways in which we construct knowledge about other people, especially other people who live in places far away from us, far away in places that are normally considered developing or low-income countries for that matter, and how that knowledge that we have about those people, be it knowing that from media, from reading sources or not, relate to or impact how we relate to these others and how we treat those people from those places far away. I am very excited about sociology in part because it allows me to see the world as a place that is very connected. For instance, when I wake up in the morning and I drink a cup of tea, I can think about the ways in which that tea came to be in my hand in this particular moment. And so I am very interested in these kinds of discussions that help us to connect with people who are far away from us.
Hello, everyone. I'm Carrie Wu. I'm an assistant professor in sociology. In the department, I teach social statistic and research methods I teach students how to look into the data, collect data, and then use the data to tell story, to do research. My research interests include political culture, urban communities, and migration. For example, I study why do people trust in others, and then why do people trust or distrust in their government? Where does trust come from? And I also look whether people are more trusting or less trusting, how that matters for their happiness, social inequality, and also health and well-being.
Hello there, my name is Sarah Al-Nakib. I am the SUSE president, and SUSE stands for the Sociology Undergraduate Student Association. I'm in my 4th year and I'm currently doing my senior thesis on prisons.
Hi, everyone. My name is Cameron Alexander, and I'm a 2nd year student. I'm also the Director of Communications and Community Outreach for SUSA.
Hello, everybody. My name is Tawaga Musuku. I'm the SUSA Vice President. I'm within my 3rd year here at York University, and I'm excited to be here.
Hello again. Being a large program at a large university, we're able to offer a wide range of courses on topics that are also relevant to other fields of studies. And these courses will help support your entry into graduate programs or many types of employment. Our profs engage in cutting-edge research that they bring to their classrooms, and simply put, they help prepare you for your future, whatever that might look like. So the 1st and 2nd year consists of, the 1st year is Introduction to Sociology, where, if my wish comes true, you will all learn to fall in love with sociology. Here, you will learn the foundational theorists, concepts, methodologies that will support your learning throughout our program. In the 2nd year, we get a little more specific, and you take one of our 3 to 2000 level themes. Also, you'll be taking a methods course, which will introduce you to both qualitative and quantitative methods, and you will be taking a theory course. In the 3rd year, we start to get more selective, and you will get a chance to take a number of a wide variety of courses that focus on specific topics, as well as statistical methods, research design, which is very popular with many of our students who then go on to conduct their own research. As well, you will be taking another theory course that focuses more. The 4th year is a very exciting year because you will be able to take a field placement course to demonstrate your skills in sociology, your skills and your knowledge base in sociology out into that which we call the real world. Our courses at that point are seminar courses of maximum of 25 students and the professor, where you will have a lot of opportunity to contribute to your own learning. And at the 4th year, we have even more specialized topics. Thank you.
Hi, I'm going to share with you 2 new 1st year courses we have in our department. The first one is Sociology of Pleasure and Trouble. Are you happy today, or do you feel troubled? Our personal feelings are not just a matter of social psychology, individual psychology. They are closely related to, for example, which university we go, the city we live in, the people around us, our age, our gender, racial, and ethnic identity. For example, women may be happier than men. Some places can be happier than others. And over time, people have become less happier. So this first new course, Sociology of Pleasure and Trouble, will help students gain understanding about how everyday feelings are often social and structural. And then we have another new courses called Mediated Life in a Digital World. So think about, over Canadians spend an average of 1 hour and 46 minutes per day using social media, and more than 6 hours per day using the internet in general, right? We check our phone almost every minute, and it's very hard to imagine of a life without internet. But still, it's important to remember some people still have no access to internet, right? So this mediated life in a digital world will help students gain insights about how our life become digital and inequalities in access to internet and to technology, and how individuals interact with the digital world, create all kinds of social issues. And then as a sociology major, we often ask this question: where will it take us, right? Where are we gonna go after graduation, right? So I want to share with you a research conducted by UBC sociology professor Neil Gappy and his students. They look into Stats Canada's data and trying to answer this question. They published their research recently in the Canadian Review of Sociology, and then two important findings. First, they show that sociology graduates are competitive with other fields of study on both wages and employment. Second, they also show top occupations of sociology graduates, and then they separate by gender. So top occupations for women include social and community service workers, administrative officers, social workers, and school teachers. For men, include police officers and social and community service workers, salesperson, and also data and computer network technician. Of course, many of our students will continue their education. Many of my students, for example, they went down for graduate program at Oxford University, New York University, University of Toronto. Of course, many of them stay at York University. They also go to law school. They go to social work program, and they also participate in nursing and teaching program. So the lots of career options for sociology graduates.
Hi, everyone. So like most of you, I'm pretty sure you guys are wondering what kind of career path is possible with a sociology degree. Well, I also thought this myself. And to be honest with you, a sociology degree can open up various doors in multiple directions for many of us. You can, if you want, you guys can follow or become a public activist figure. You can also go into the field of consulting if you like the business side of it. You can become a social worker, you can become a journalist, or you can even become a mental health specialist. But what is at the core of all of these career paths? They all involve people. So if you have very good interpersonal skills, you have no worries being in this field of work. Also, along with that, the type of skills that you can obtain from a sociology degree, it helps with your critical thinking and writing skills. It also heightens your analytical skills, and it also helps with practicing research skills and being more in-depth with interviewing, focus groups, ethnography, surveys, and statistical methods.
So the Resource Center for Public Sociology is a place where sociology comes alive. In our center, we aim to bridge the gap between academics and the public through research, sharing our research findings. In other words, when we conduct research, we go into the field. A lot of us do a lot of critical thinking and analysis to produce really important information. In the center, we try to help to make sure that the general public is aware of the kinds of things we are finding in order to improve our society overall, including public and social policy. We also have very vibrant engagements with our community. So for instance, we have and we host the Jane and Finch Social Innovation Hub, which is a place for students to come every now and again to just hang out, talk about their work, have any kinds of discussions, or who knows, perhaps even watch a movie. We also undertake rigorous methods training for our students, the general public, and even other professors who are interested in various specific methods so as to boost our public intellectual work. So this is what we do in the Resource Center for Public Sociology. So anything that helps you to think about sociology as a living, thriving thing, we do in the center. So what kinds of research do we do in our department? Well, our faculty are engaged in all kinds of research, usually really groundbreaking research work on issues of immigration, education, race, sexuality, globalization, culture, work, family, social movement, digital sociology, and so many more topics that I cannot elaborate on today. We also contribute to research work that is ongoing in the university. So for instance, we are usually affiliated with and work with other researchers in the Center for Feminist Research, the Center for Refugee Studies, which is one of the biggest and the best in the world for studies of issues of refugees, the Center for Research on Latin America and the Caribbean, the Global Labor Research Center, which is actually directed by our very own chair for the department, Mark Thomas, the Nathanson Center for Transnational Human Rights, Crime and Security, the City Institute, and finally, the Harriet Tubman Institute for Research on Africa and its diasporas.
Hello, everybody. I'm here to tell you how the Sociology Undergraduate Student Association is an award-winning student organization here at York University. We have ongoing relationships with students and professors, and with this, we are able to cater to the academic as well as the social life of sociology students here at York. We encourage students to get involved with the university as well as the sociology department. SUSA is here to provide social connections and support for students in their academic career.
Hi, everyone. We also hold social and academic events related to sociological issues, such as Coffee with Profs, where you can come and discuss one-on-one with professors that's also within the sociology department. We have study sessions where you and a more senior sociology student can talk about, your courses, whether you're first year or second year, you're involved with, you're speaking with someone who's maybe in their third or fourth year, somebody who's already taken the course previously. And we also have Falling in Love with Research, where we come together and come up on the topic and develop whether it's quantitative or qualitative research. Also, while attending these academic events, you have the opportunity to connect with your professors and other professionals outside the classroom.
Hi again, everyone. We hope this presentation has sparked your interest in studying sociology at York. I want to thank the students and the faculty members who joined us today to participate in this and to tell you a little bit about what we do in the department. If you have any questions about the program, if you want to follow up and if you want to learn more, you can find us on the web at the website here, and you can also follow us on Twitter, and you can contact us by email at our departmental email address. This reaches the end of our presentation, and we're now going to take some time to discuss some questions.
Well, what a fantastic overview of the Department of Sociology and our programs in sociology. And I want to thank all of the faculty members and students for giving us that. And I'm really glad to have the opportunity to have a little bit more of a discussion about the program of sociology and the study of sociology here at York University. So I'd like to invite all of our guests, faculties and students, to join me again here. And maybe we could talk a little bit more about some of the pressing questions that students often have. And I know one that is always on the forefront of a lot of students' minds, and to be honest, a lot of parents' minds, is how do we make the connection to career with sociology? So maybe we could talk a little bit about the kinds of skills that sociology majors learn, or the sort of things that happen in the sociology program that prepare our students to move into careers beyond their university studies. Maybe Professor Thomas, we could start with you and your thoughts.
Sure. Thanks, Adam. And, you're absolutely right. This is a big question that people have as they're making decisions about what university to go to and what programs to take. And this is something that people wonder, I think, all throughout their program of study, even once they're at university. We heard from both Carrie and Cameron, and I think they offered a lot of insight into the skills that people gain through the sociology program at York. And, to what they said, I would just add and just really emphasize this, this really strong, I think, development of critical thinking skills that runs throughout our program. And by critical thinking, what we talk about here is just the way to question the taken for granted assumptions and ideas that are so present in our world, and to think about social issues in different ways, and to think about the impacts and the social impacts of a wide variety of changing phenomenon. When I think about the students in my classes, along with this general kind of emphasis on critical thinking, there are also really important development of research skills, whether it's doing qualitative research and learning how to do interviews and focus groups, whether it's learning quantitative research skills, learning how to do data analysis, data collection. And these things can lead into a number of different kinds of career opportunities, doing policy development, doing research, whether in government organizations or in the private sector. When I think of my former students, I have students who are now working as teachers, who are working in the community sector in a variety of community organizations, who are attending further studies like in law school or in graduate school. So I think there's a large number of very concrete kinds of skills that people learn in our program that can lead to a number of career opportunities. And along with the question of career opportunities, the other thing that I think we constantly are aware of and really emphasize within the program is, beyond preparing students for their, experiences in work, we continually ask, what kind of person do you become in studying sociology through our program? And I think some of the answers to this have to be, critical, aware, and really engaged in the world around you. And so I think these are some of the things that can be offered through our program.
That's fantastic. And I'm really happy to hear you just mention, even in passing, law school, because I think sociology goes under-recognized for the benefits it gives students who might want to go into the practice of law in terms of understanding conflict and understanding the relationship between peoples. And I wonder if, building on that, anyone else wanted to talk a little bit about those understandings that you gain in the study of sociology, whether it be students and your experience in the classes, or professors in how you've seen former students develop or grow into their careers.
Hi, I can offer one example that comes to mind immediately about one of our formerly stellar students who has won several awards, who has gone on to do MA work, and who has just recently got her PhD at OISE, Ontario Institute for the Studies of Education, and who now has, in her first year of finishing her PhD, has an assistant professorship at Ryerson, or known as currently as X University. And this is a student who, like many of our students, had a very rocky start to life. She moved around, and she would be the first to tell you this. She's spoken to my classes many times. She moved around from home to home, boarding house to boarding house. When she was a child, she was told by her high school teachers that she should consider basic courses because she is never going to be university material. She first attended MAC, sociology, where she didn't find things too agreeable. She entered our program and she became a shooting star. So this is one of our very many success stories. And I add, this is just one of our success stories.
Well, that's a really interesting point you bring up, is she attended another university and found that it wasn't a very agreeable experience. Maybe I could call on the students to talk a little bit about the sense of community that they gather from our sociology program and from our classes. I know that puts you a little bit on the spot, but maybe one of our Sociology Student Association members might talk about what it's like to be a sociology student here at York in terms of the community that exists.
Hi, yes. I'm a third year York sociology student. My first year, I would say, as Deborah has said it, I fell in love with sociology. It made sense of everything that's going on in the world. It opened up my eyes, and to have amazing professors that you can turn to and talk to about these new ways of thinking, because it's a lot of unlearning that you have to do to be a sociology student and to understand the world using this lens. And it can be a bit daunting at first. And there's a great support system that the department has created, from professors to even having a space for students to go and talk about these new things that we're learning, and just stepping back and realizing, okay, because of this way of thinking, these policies are made, and because of this way of thinking, these institutions are being perpetuated. It's great, and you have a place to talk about it all. So that's my experience as a York University student.
That's fantastic. Thanks so much for sharing that. And I was wondering if we might pivot a little bit and talk about the program at large and how it sits in sort of the wider community of sociology studies here in Ontario or in Canada, or even indeed the world. And I don't expect anyone to be able to talk about other programs, but when students are looking at York University's program in sociology, what are some of the things that set us apart and really make us unique in this area?
I can start if that's okay, Adam. I think this is a great question. Just speaking about York University and our department, our undergraduate sociology program is one of the largest in the country. It's a very big, it's a very diverse, it's a very eclectic, and it's a very creative space, I think, for where people can find a home to study, as we've heard through this presentation and through these discussions, study such a wide variety of topics and issues that may be of interest to them. And in being such a big place, at the same time, as Tawanga was just speaking about, we in the department really try to create a home and to make people feel that they have the space to grow intellectually and socially, focused on the things that are really important and interesting to them. And so we're really, I think, do an important job of trying to create this balance between, a large space, but also creating a very comfortable home and learning environment. The other thing I think that makes York sociology so unique, and this fits within the larger, I think, mandate of the university itself. York as a university is really oriented around these questions of social justice, around developing teaching and research that's really meant to be engaged with the world and to promote social change. And certainly I see our department as being really central to that larger mission of York University. And this is something that comes through in so many of our courses, this emphasis, as Sylvia talked about earlier with the Resource Center for Public Sociology, of developing courses that are really engaged and connected to the world, and that are really encouraging students to think about how they can become engaged and to participate in social change. And I think this is something that's a major emphasis in our program, and it's something that makes us really unique within sociology in Canada.
I can add just a little bit to that. I think for me, it is the sense of solidarity that one feels immediately once you start, doing things in sociology. And for instance, through the Resource Center for Public Sociology and the program itself, we organize talks, workshops to respond to contemporary issues, sometimes really difficult and challenging issues that come up, so as to provide space and a sense of solidarity again for people to be able to discuss these things and to get a handle on what is really happening. And in that way, people are able to share resources in terms of where to go, who to talk to, or even how to situate all of these things within the larger context of some of the discussions that we have in the classroom. So I think that, issue of solidarity really sets the York Sociology Department or program apart.
May I add briefly? I'd like to add that our Sociology Undergraduate Student Association plays a really big part in this. I was undergraduate program director for a number of years, and for many more years, I was also the advisor for SUSA. And so many of my students have told me that they almost dropped out of York. They were students they were local students who lived at home, came to York only for their classes, and they were getting disengaged, disenchanted. It was only until they got hooked into SUSA that they really started to come alive and were able to make use of all the resources we have in our department. And when we say SUSA is an award-winning association, not just once or twice, they have a long-standing history of well-deserved awards. And because we recognize our students deserve the best.
That's fantastic. And, you know, I just want to say that whenever I'm at an event where we have alumni, mentioning the Sociology Student Association always brings a smile to faces. Fond memories are so frequent that they are the norm for students who come and join us here. I was hoping maybe we could talk a little bit about what students can expect, or more to the point, what advice you might have if there is a particular suggestion you have for students who are going to be starting with us, or even some way that they can get prepared for next year and starting their journey with York University Sociology program.
I could jump in with a couple of suggestions, Adam. This is a really great question. I'm sure everyone's wondering it as they get ready to come to university. And, you know, earlier I'd spoken about how York is a really great, a really big place. And this is, I think, one of the strengths of York itself and as our department as well, which is a really big undergraduate department. But the strength or the size of the place can also be really alienating and people can feel lost. And so I think it's really important as you're coming into this space to reach out to people, to make connections to others, whether it's in your classes or your professors, and to don't be afraid to ask questions. In the department, we do have student advising, and there are some really amazing administrative assistants that can help with answering questions that people might have in the program. And so I would really encourage people to just reach out, talk to others. And if you have a question, probably others have the same question. And often people are just reluctant to ask, but I would just say, don't be afraid and ask these questions. And there are people who are going to be able to help you out.
And related to that, I would say that make sure you go and visit your professors during their office hours. You know, just come and hang out with us. Often we're not always talking about courses or readings during those office hours, but it's a great way to get to know who your professors are, why they are passionate about what they do. And we get to know you because often, you know, we don't know our students because, you know, a lot of students don't share as much in classes, especially if those classes are large, but getting to know each other also creates that sense of community. And it's great to know where people are coming from, you know, what your interests are and those kinds of things. And also remember that it is a time of your life, right? I'm not saying this lightly, but, you know, university, you just never get that opportunity again and the access to professors in the same way you would once you leave the university. So take advantage of it.
Precisely, Sylvia. We are professors because of you, because we love to teach. And we sometimes feel sad if nobody comes to visit us during our office hours. So keep us happy.
Talking about happiness, I feel like towards the international students right now I'm speaking to, have a routine, get organized. I know leaving home can be very daunting. I'm an international student myself, and my first winter was quite brutal on me. And if I had prepared a routine to just get myself out of the morning, something excited, even though it's cold outside, at least have a warm breakfast, get a nice cup of coffee, walk to my class, talk to my professors, create that sense of community just to get you out of bed. That's my thinking back, some advice I'd give to a first year student. That's some advice I'd give to myself. So passing on wisdom.
I actually like to hit on what Tawanda was saying. Getting involved, join clubs, I cannot say that enough. Join clubs, especially if you're a first year student. Being at a huge university, you're going to feel alienated and you're not going to know anybody, but joining clubs definitely helps make those connections, break those barriers. And York has way too many, and I mean way too many amounts of clubs where you can join. I mean, I suggest coming to SUSA first, but yes, get involved, make friends, make connections.
And if I may add to what Cameron just said, and this may be counterintuitive, but it's very interesting. Research shows that students who become involved outside of their classrooms, so in groups and organizations within their university, do better academically than students who don't. I think it's because they become more overall engaged, and that contributes to their learning in the classroom. And they have peers that they can talk to about what they're learning in their courses. And my favorite thing is when students come and tell me that they had a discussion about what they learned in class today at their own dinner table.
Yes, I agree that one of the most cited sociology research is social capital in the creation of human capital. So when we think about social capital, is what Marx talked about, reaching out, building up social relationship. What Silva talked about, that reaching out to professor, have confidence in professor, go meet professors. And then what Cameron talked about, that join student association, engage in student activities. So university is not just about human capital, it's not just a grades, about degree. But when you are in the university, you're building relationship, enjoying the class, reaching out, have confidence in professors. And those, what we call social capital, help create human capital, promote the value of human capital, right? So that Deborah mentioned that when you do all those, you will become much, much better in terms of your degree, in terms of career, in terms of getting better job, better career.
And I would like to offer a piece of advice about students are always wondering, what am I going to do to get ready for university, whether I'm coming from college or high school. This is such a big change. Well, I've got something easy and fun that will help you recognize the sociologist in you. Observe the world around you, be it in interactions or in the media or in the books you read, and ask yourself, who has the power in this situation? Then start thinking about why that might be the case, that person or group has the power. And then from that, ask, what are the consequences this has for the world? You do that and you will be A1 ready for Sociology 101.
That's fantastic. Thanks, Deborah, for mentioning those things. I think that's such an important exercise and a great way to start thinking sociologically and how people can prepare for coming to York to study sociology at York. The one last thing that I wanted to offer as well, and of course, when you get to university, you're going to do lots of reading, and it will be textbooks, and it will be articles, and it will be fascinating, but it will also be sometimes really challenging. And so when I encourage students to read, in addition to the stuff that they come across on their reading lists in the courses, I always think it's important to look outside of your reading list as well and to do other kinds of reading. And you'd be surprised at where you can see sociology coming up in other places. And so for my last recommendation, I want to recommend this book. And this is a book that was written by a Canadian author named Carrie Ann Lee Young. And it's called That Time I Loved You. And it's a novel. It's not a textbook, but it's a beautiful novel about growing up in the suburbs of Toronto in the 1970s, in a community of recent immigrants from a wide variety of backgrounds, and just the many different kinds of experiences and challenges a number of the characters have in this novel, growing up in this setting. And it's a fascinating novel, piece of literature, but it's also fascinating for its sociological contributions too. The book deals with a number of things that we've talked about in this presentation around issues of immigration, of class, of gender relations, of racism, of ethnic relations, a whole number of sociological topics. And most interesting of all, the author, Carrie Ann Leung, is herself a sociologist. She did a degree in sociology before she began writing novels. And so when I look at this novel, I think of it not just as a text in sociology, but also as an example of what you can do with a sociology degree.
Hope you enjoyed the program, chat, everyone.
If you have any questions about our LA&PS programs, be sure to visit our website to learn more.
And make sure to stay in touch with us for a chance to win a $100 gift card at the York Bookstore. The link to our website is in the description box below.
You can also send your questions to us, the LA&PS student recruitment team.
We'd love to hear from you, so send us an email at goyork@yorku.ca.
And we look forward to seeing you all on campus next year.
Bye.
Bye.